This episode of Boss Rush After Dark is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. It's your boy, LeRon Dawkins, back in the house, and the quartet is now a duo.
That's how I like it, LeRon. I like a little intimate setting.
Oh yeah, one-on-one, yeah, definitely. You know, like you can get more over the shoulder, over the sweater action without, it being weird for the other parties involved.
Let me ask you, LeRon. Since you have a boyfriend, is over the shoulder action still a thing? Like, do you try to like put, like when you guys were first like doing whatever you were doing, would you like go to put your arm around and try to do a little, over the shirt action?
Well, just so you know, in the queer environment, particularly the two dudes environment, like typically we just go for it. There's not a need to be all like subversive about it and stuff like that. Like just go ahead and do your thing, and if you don't get swatted away, then that means it's a good time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's. And I want to say, like, the dynamics of the all male relationship versus the male female or the all female relationship are different, because like I know some lesbians, like I don't know why it just sounds so bad for me to say it like that. But I do know some lesbian friends and stuff like that, and even the dynamics of how they casually date is very different than how like when it's two dudes. And I guess that stigma is always there, because like everyone's always like, well, it's two dudes, so y'all just gonna go for it no matter what and stuff like that. And sometimes there are no rails to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys did not recognize that voice, my wonderful co-host, as always, Corey Derrick is back with us.
Oh yeah, it's me. Hi.
Yeah. Hey.
Here. Sure. Yeah.
Why is it? You know what? I feel like when it's just you and me, you always learn more and more about queer relationships.
I mean, I like to know my friends. I want to know what's going on. I'm a straight white guy. There's a lot of things I don't know about. So,
Well, I gotta say one thing. Like I appreciate your willingness to learn and your curiosity. I appreciate that, because a lot of times the average like straight dude, especially a straight white dude, be like, ew, stop talking about that shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's I want to support people in the best way possible, and I think the best way to support them is to learn about them, in their lives. And like I get sometimes people take that as being ignorant, but like how else are you going to learn if you don't ask questions? I mean, we've had this conversation quite a few times on the show, so
yeah.
But I'm going to reiterate it if you're new here. Hi. So yeah, I want to learn about you, LeRon. I want to know you.
All right, yeah. And you know what? Here's the cool thing about me. Like, I love being transparent. I do. I feel like that's also how I get into trouble most times, because like it's gotten me in trouble with work. Like just disclosing information about who I am, what I do, how I love. Like where my head's at and stuff like that. I got in trouble with my job a few years ago. Before like I'm now a partner with my company, but I got in trouble with my job a few years back, because back when the 2016 was, wait, not was it 2016? It was one of those elections. Okay, so it was longer than a few years ago. It was one of the elections where this is before like Roe versus Wade getting overturned actually did happen. So like it was before that election cycle, but yeah, like I remember so social media gets me into trouble because like I just try to be my most genuine self. Like I know back then, if you really want to know a lot about me, like go to my social media. And it wasn't like I was just putting like all sorts of crazy shit out there. It was like you actually got to know me, like where I was at religiously, spiritually, or religiously, where I was at politically, where I was at, socially, where I was at, like on my daily health and all that stuff. That was the best place to get to know me and stuff like that because like I was one of those people. I'm kind of old school. Like I treated all social media like how we used to have live journal back in the day,
Mm,
and stuff like that. So yeah.
man,
So
live
but
journal.
but my biggest folly, was like when customers and clients like looked me up on Facebook and stuff like that. If they sent me a friend request, I would go ahead and accept it.
Yeah,
It's no big deal. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people that how there's some people out there like like their friend count means everything to them. So if they don't have like more than 700 friends, in their friend count, like they're not social media incorrectly. Yeah.
yeah,
I wasn't one of those people, like I didn't even flex. I never even really had the idea to flex, like how many friends are following me and shit like that.
right.
Now it's a different story on YouTube and Twitter, but Facebook, I could give a damn,
Yeah,
But but yeah, so so yeah, so the elections happened. So this is definitely no, not Obama's second term. So this is definitely
is this
shit.
the Trump election?
Okay, so it was a Trump election, but it had to be the midterms. It was the
Mm,
midterms during his first term. All right.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah. So like all this stuff was going down. This is back when the GOP was trying hard to try and get control over like pro-choice, and stuff like that, Um and um and so like basically they were doing this thing where like if the GOP got a majority in the governorship, they could start radicalizing some, well, not radicalizing, ratifying some laws that would put Roe versus Wade in trouble. That was their first hardcore attempt at trying to get Roe push back on Roe versus Wade. That failed, and then of course what happened is like the court got. I'm not gonna say the court got stacked, but the court got stacked with Republican leaning, or not even Republican leaning, because now we're starting to learn in our news cycle that some of these people aren't really super hardcore Republican.
Hmm.
They're just playing a fucking game of politics. But
Yeah,
that's a conversation for another night.
yeah.
So Virginia, the state I live in, was one of the final states that they're voting together to find out who the governor was. We I must be missing something because like that doesn't sound right because like our governor now came in on a midterm. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So basically, Virginia's governorship stayed blue that particular cycle, whatever cycle it was, because like we have a red governor now, but it stayed blue. It stayed blue, which means that the majority of GOP governorship was thwarted, which means that stuff like Roe versus Wade, stuff like where they were going to rethink like marriage equality and stuff like that was like it was. So I got on Facebook that night before I went to bed, and I was like, you know what, like a lot of things didn't go my way for the election, but at least the governorship, stayed blue, which means that a woman's right to choose, is safe.
Hmm.
And I went to bed. Uh I didn't think anything else of it. So like to my surprise, a couple months later, my partner who was my boss at the time, my business partner who was my boss at the time, he contacts me like it was like after 10 o'clock at night and stuff, and he was like, "Hey, are you at home?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm at home." He's like, "Is it okay if I swing by?" And I was like, "Sure," like kind of odd, but like yeah, whatever. So he gets to my apartment and he's talking to me. He's like, "Hey," he's like, I don't want to be the person to tell you what you can and cannot do on Facebook, but you shouldn't post your political leanings on Facebook, especially if you're going to have our clients, on your friends list. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, okay. So what's going on my Facebook? And he was like, well, I was at dinner with some people, our clients, and
Hmm.
like it all came up. It all came up, and that basically. And here was the line. here's the line, and like LeRon does really good work, but I don't know if I like that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was all because of something I saw on my social media. But the problem is that no one told my boss, what the social media post was. Like it was
Hmm.
just really vague, like something about his social media, and just to prime this whole thing. It's 2023, so let's say like 8 years ago, 8 years and back, like Facebook was like the wild fucking west for me. Like I would say any goddamn thing on on social media.
Yeah.
like the version of me you get now on social media is a very 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 sanctified version of me
Yeah.
versus what I was back then. So the first thing I'm sitting there thinking is, oh my god, they must have saw like a raunchy fucking post from me or something. Like they must have went back digging or whatnot.
Yeah.
So so and here's the crazy shit, right? Like because I said like at the time this guy was my boss. So
Yeah.
we're sitting down and but because like because I was like the lead technician, basically I handle a lot of the field work and stuff. I was in clients' offices and clients' houses and stuff, repairing computers and fixing their stuff for them, stuff like that. It
Yeah.
was one of those situations where basically I was the face of the company. Well, I still am the face of the company, but I was the face of the company. And basically I was the brand, which
Hmm.
being the brand for a company, I realize now that's a very dangerous situation to be in because if you're when you're the brand for the company, that means you should be getting paid a lot more than you are getting paid whenever whatever you're doing. And
Yeah.
also you should already have some flexibility in like are you getting stock? Are you getting a percentage? What's going on? But
Right.
we live and we learn. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm still like I've been in the company and like I'm about to hit my 10-year anniversary next month with the company. So yay me. So
Nice.
yeah, so me and my boss are sitting down like on my Facebook scrolling, and we're trying to because he started to think that I said some really raunchy, fucked up sexual shit, and he knew I'm bisexual and stuff like that. So like, and we have some very conservative clients and stuff. So like, he was figuring it was something sexual. So we're scrolling. I'm looking through some stuff, and a lot of my stuff is tame. Like I'm either reposting news, like actual credible news. That's one thing I try to do. I post credible news and stuff like that. And we get to the post where basically I say, what I say about like a woman's right to choose is still safe for now and stuff like that. And then on the first comment is from a person that works in the client's office,
Hmm.
and this is the quote. And I'm saying this, and you know what? My Facebook is not locked down. So like you can go to my Facebook right now, look far enough, and you'll find it, and you'll see the comment.
Hmm.
The comment said, the comment from this person was, "Oh, that's okay if you like killing babies." And when we both eyeballed that, we were like, "Oh, this is completely different than what either one of us was thinking." Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically I had to get the speech about how like when you work for a company and you're deeply embedded in the company like you are,
Hmm.
you can no longer be an individual.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were kind of, not that they like told me specifically uh when I got hired at my job, but like they just kind of gave us a reminder that said, hey, if you're going to use your social media accounts that you use personally with us, uh just remember that we have a worldwide audience that believes in different things, and whether it's politically, sexually, gender, whatever, just be careful what you say, because we do have a worldwide kind of uh audience and client base. So just you know which is why most of my social media is really just promoting our stuff now, right?
Yeah.
um I mean, once in a while I'll tweet something out or whatever, but like it's nothing like political or whatever. um but
It's a shame though because like why the fuck do we have to censor ourselves for people, who really don't give a fuck about us, You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I agree with you, but at the end of the day, like, to, I mean, you're in a different situation than I am, right? Just because you're single, you don't have kids, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're with someone, but you know what I mean. And like as somebody who like carries the insurance and makes the money for the family and is doing a lot of things that,
that's a big deal.
that's
That's a big deal.
you tend to kind of pay more attention when people say that, I think. Because like back in the day, like when I was single, I would have been like, whatever. If they want to fire me for saying something, like I'll just get another job or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I've also over the last, you know, maybe I would say since I got married, but I would say probably since my daughter was born, like I've become more reserved in what I say and do on the internet on the internet. Um, but you know, I just, I mean, I see things that happen to people with things that they said like 7, 8 years ago. I mean, we've had a couple of them on our podcast, right? Like they lost their
Hmm.
job because of something that they said revolving around something that they may or may not believe in 7 or 8 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I it's fine if people want to, I don't. Well, anyways, yeah, I think that's kind of wrong, but that's my opinion. So, anyways,
Yeah, so ultimately, I spent all those words just to say, like, I try to be transparent.
hmm
I try to be forthcoming. Like because at the end of the day, I hate when people hit you with, like, how come you never told me that about yourself?
hmm
I hate when people do that because it's like like if you like eventually I'll get to it, but sometimes like it's not always the first thing I come to, like like my bisexuality is not the first thing I lead with when I meet people.
yeah,
I'm black, but at the same time, like my political affiliation, my social standings, as far as like equal rights and stuff, that's not what I lead with and stuff like that. So oh, it was a thing in Ted Lasso where it was like be inquisitive, not judgmental.
hmm
And I think people need to learn that lesson.
yeah. Something, everything okay over there, LeRon? I heard a noise.
Yeah, you heard that noise, right? Yeah, like it's funny because like my roommate just came home and the dogs are stark still. Like they normally bark and act a fool when that door opens.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well,
I mean, I hope that's my roommate that's here.
I guess you'll find out.
I'm gonna keep the podcast rolling just in case I
Yeah.
get
Do
murdered
you want to point the
and you
camera towards the door so I can see who's on the other side?
like the dogs didn't move, but a light came on downstairs, which and I heard the telltale noise that the front door opened, and it's
Yeah.
just wild that they did not go nuts.
Well, well, good dogs.
They are, but wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Okay, I can see them breathing, so they're not dead.
Yeah, good dogs.
By the way, I'm babysitting two puppies, like a Jack Russell and a Merle Corgi.
Yeah. Oh man, dogs are fun.
Dogs are fun. These little things are sweethearts, except when they're being rascals.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Oh man, Laurent, good times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's our topic tonight, Laurent?
You know what? Let's talk about self care, but not the self care that everybody seems to think of. When it comes like mental health and well being and stuff like that. Let's talk about like actual like what are we doing for ourselves like physically for our longevity, that type of self care.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I'll start. Well, I mean, people have been listening to After Dark for at least the last couple months know that like I've really been trying to get myself right mentally and even physically. Like I went to the doctor and like yeah, I'm on some medication and like the last time I went, they I asked my doctor about like losing weight and like, I really need to start doing this. What do you recommend as somebody who like, drives 45 minutes to work, works all day, sometimes stays late, drives 45 minutes home. You know, I don't really have a lot of time to be physically active, right?
Mm.
And so I've been for since the first week of July, maybe the last week of June. I I've been watching what I've been eating and calorie counting and like really watching the types of food that I'm eating,
Hmm.
the times of days that I'm eating. And over the last 6 weeks or so, now my weigh-in days are Saturday, but I kind of figured this might be something we might talk about this week on After Dark. Uh, but I weighed myself this morning, and I've lost 40 pounds in 6 weeks.
Yo,
So, and
yo.
my first major goal is 50 pounds. Um,
So you're almost there, dude.
yeah, and like it's been it's been really hard, especially for someone who like when I'm stressed or I'm, you know, not having the best day, like my go-to is to like eat myself into, and I mean, it's been really satisfying to kind of keep track of this. And um I don't know, obviously like I'm a large person, right? And
Hmm.
so large people tend to not live as long, uh
That's
in
true.
multiple facets. Like I mean, if you're big and healthy, then that's one thing. But like, I don't know. I want to be around for like my kids, and I know at some point I'm gonna have, based on family history, like I will probably have some sort of heart problems or have some sort of scare like that. And so I'm taking the steps to be preemptive about this stuff, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. I like it. I've When I weighed myself today, I was really like, those little moments where you're like really proud of yourself,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and like I was really proud of myself today. And it's really hard. Like I know losing weight is like really hard for a lot of people, but like
Hmm.
just the simple things of like, you know, counting calories, like I thought that was like the dumbest way to lose weight, but it's not. It's actually been working. And like n- not not eating sugar or chips or bread, buying like the low carb wraps, and like eating a lot more vegetables, and
I feel like I'm being fat shamed right now because the last podcast recording like we were doing, like I was eating Twizzlers and
I know.
lemon golden Oreos and stuff like that.
Yeah. And like not eating after dinner, right? Because like one of my favorite things to do is like if I'm editing or watching something, I want to go get some
Something's
chips.
going in your mouth.
Yeah,
Something's going.
like
Yeah.
like a peanut butter bagel or some chips and salsa, or you know yeah, I know, I see them. uh and like it's been really hard not to do that on some days.
Uh-huh.
And like Saturday after I like weigh myself, I get to eat whatever I want that day. Like that's my day that I
All
can
right,
like.
don't go ham. Don't go ham. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
No, I'm not, but I mean like every Saturday, like I can kind of like
Oh, okay.
eat whatever I want. Now, I don't go crazy. Like for usually for breakfast and lunch, I'll eat what I normally eat during the week. It's really the
Uh-huh.
dinner that I usually eat something, and then I'll have like cookies or ice cream or whatever right
Hmm.
afterwards. Because like you did good this week. Let's do that. But then Sunday it starts over again. But
Yeah. Well, okay. So it's good you're saying that because like I'm also doing this thing, and also I think I may have told you and Stephanie, but I got lined up with a counselor a while back, and so I've been talking about some stuff, as far as like my mental health, but we're talking about physical health here. So
that's something I
you
need to
got
find, though, is like a therapist. I've been wanting to find one, and like
uh,
I know like sometimes after dark we kind of pretend it's therapy,
we are our
but
therapist. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but anyways, it's not about that this week.
Yeah. Yeah, but you remember a while back I announced that one of the things I made a conscious decision to like stop having a personal trainer.
Hmm.
Which means that that was a journey for me because like I don't have the best discipline when it comes to like actually like policing myself for working out and being active and stuff like that. Um, Sporadically here and there I have been doing workouts, but it's not been that same level of consistency where I was going 3 to 4 days seeing my trainer and stuff like that. But I will be happy to say that since the beginning of August, like I've gotten up every morning and basically did like calisthenics, 50 push-ups in the morning. I've been working in also some squats and some sit-ups and stuff like that, like, and it's just something, my chest and shoulders are sore as hell from the push-ups. I'll tell you that right now because doing 50 of them, and like I'm trying to get as many done, at one time. Even though technically I give myself the leeway of saying as long as I get 50 done during the day. So if I bust out 10, like every other hour or whatnot, I'm good. As long as 50 is done before my head hits the pillow for that night.
Hmm.
And this is one of the things, so yeah, for it's August the 9th right now, and I've already done 450 push-ups this month.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah. Yeah. And that's just one thing. Like the weather's calling itself trying to cool off right now. So so yeah, like I'm gonna get back out there eventually and start running. Like running's the one thing I hate, you
Yeah,
know. And it's funny because like I actually do more running when the weather's hot, but like it's been oppressive this summer. And I'm like, there's no way. Like you're not gonna catch me beside the street like the when the ambulance is pulled up beside me because I'm keeled over on the sidewalk. Which which by the way, did you hear? Like like it's so hot outside that people are actually getting second degree burns if they actually fall on the
yeah,
asphalt.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah, that's wild. Which is like and I see people outside walking their dogs, and I'm like, y'all are cruel. They're ignorant.
Yeah, man, dude, it's
No,
like it's like
no.
really hot recently. Like I feel like it's hotter than normal.
Yeah, it's weird though because like it is hot, but I feel like last year was hotter than this year. But I think last year we just had a longer drought. You know,
Yeah,
um, because like last year I know for sure like our trees and plants outside like burned to death.
yeah,
Yeah, this year it hasn't been that crazy.
yeah,
Not yet at least. But me and my roommate we had the conversation. We're like, hey, like we would be out there with the hose spraying stuff down, like because no, I mean it literally looked like we killed the lawn last year when it
yeah,
was the sun and the heat that killed the lawn.
yeah, yeah. It's just it's crazy out there. Like, but like you said, like I would much rather like exercise or run outside if it's warm out than when it's cold. Dude, when it's cold out, I
Yeah,
want nothing to do with it. I don't want
yeah,
anything to
yeah.
do with the cold.
I will walk in the cold, but I cannot stand running in the cold because like like the air gets in your lungs and like it feels like a boa constrictor is around your chest.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, like, when it's hot out, like, I can handle heat, but, like, when it's
Yeah.
muggy out, man, like, oh, if it's, like, super muggy outside,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
no
Well, that's the
way.
problem we have here in Virginia. Like it's humidity all the time. Even in the winter, it's humidity.
Yeah, yeah, it's kinda the same here. There are very few days where it's not, but, man, when
Yeah.
it's muggy, man, it's just like
Yeah, like I learned what dry heat was when we were in California for that week. I learned what dry heat was, and you know what? Dry heat's good until the wind starts blowing.
yeah,
Then it's cold.
yeah. Um, what else are you doing to, like, not be like some overweight couch potato? Because like I'm
Well,
still looking for like some sorts of like, you know, I feel like I'm doing well, but I want to keep doing better. You know?
Well, I haven't been doing the best as far as like policing what I eat. But then again, like even when I had a personal trainer, I wasn't really like stringent about how I ate and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, since I've stopped seeing my personal trainer, I have gained about 7 pounds.
Mm,
You know, and it's starting to become 7 uncomfortable pounds because I'm starting to feel weird in my clothes and stuff. So like it's time for me to actually like buckle down and really do something.
yeah.
But a lot of the main stuff that I try to do like I'm very irresponsible, so I eat a lot of processed food. So, but like when I get down to nitty gritty and stuff, like usually all that stuff like takes a back seat for a while. Um, Sugar's always been a part of my life, as far as like my eating habits and stuff.
Hmm.
So I can't cold turkey like sugar, but I can cut back on it. Like
Yeah.
and I can also cheat and find ways of she's uncomfortable. Like the corgi gets hot, so she and I've got the fan pointed on me, so like I'm just mean right now.
Why are you so
but I get hot.
mean?
But I get hot when I podcast.
Yeah. It's, I mean, why do you think my podcasting desk is right over the air conditioning vent?
All right, but anyway, so you're doing a better job than I am as far as counting calories because I don't count calories, which is sad because like I should be counting calories because like when you hit the right amount of calories, your body actually gets to that metabolic state because like if you're not but you gotta do it right because like you can't overeat in calories and you can't underconsume calories because you underconsume calories, your body goes into fat storing mode. And I guarantee you, like I probably underconsume more than I overeat. Even though like you guys always see me munching on shit, so you're like, man, like that guy's gonna be fat, but I'm being fat because I'm not eating enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that's the thing I got. That's the thing that I really have to like buckle down on. I gotta like hit the macros. And but I want to say like it's cool you're counting calories and stuff like that, but don't use that as your Geiger counter. Like yeah, have it as like the median.
Hmm.
Like basically the guideline. Like if you're supposed to have like 1,800 calories in a day, which sounds kind of low. When most people in a day, like if they're going to fast food places and stuff like that, they're getting like 3,000 plus calories a day.
Yeah. I mean, I have an app on my phone that was recommended, and like what it does is like it tells you based on like how like your height and weight and how active you are,
Oh yeah, so your
how many
body your body mass index is just a mess, isn't it?
yeah. It tells you yeah. It tells you how much like how many calories you should eat in a day to lose approximately 2 pounds a week.
Hmm.
And like you can adjust it to be like I want it to be gradual, like half a pound a week to like a pound to 2 pounds, and I think the highest it goes is like 3 pounds,
Hmm.
which is like the high end, I guess. Although I don't know, I feel like I've lost a lot of weight by following this, a lot more than 2 or 3 pounds a week. Uh, but it adjusts for you every time you weigh yourself because you can log your weight in this, and then it adjusts for you, and then
Oh,
it like adjusts for like, hey, I'm gonna eat more on the weekend, so just app know that I'm gonna eat more on the weekends than I do during the week, and like it like
is this a free app or a paid app?
the I'm using a free app, but you can also pay for it, and when you pay for it, it also like imports a lot of like restaurant data into it. So like if you go out to eat and you say I got this meal, it'll like just track it all for you. Like you just say I picked this meal.
Wow.
Um and granted, you can kind of manually do that, which I do because we don't really go out to eat a lot anyway. And like certain places like Chipotle has a calorie counter on their
Hmm.
app. So like you can just kind of, do that instead of, obviously paying for it. But like, uh, it's a really cool app, and like it, I, I'll let's see. It's just called, let's see. What's it called? It's just called Calorie, Calory. Um, and the app is like a light blue square with a bunch of white little circles in it. And like this is what the main kind of screen looks like. It's this circle, and every time you track something, it fills the circle up with little balls, so it gives you like a visual aid
Oh,
Two.
I was about to be mad because like I looked it up and I was only seeing the iOS version of it. I was like, oh, I'm about to be mad.
um,
I found the Google Play version of it.
yeah, and like it's really intuitive. It's really easy. Like you can if you eat like for me, I eat the same breakfast every day. So
Hmm.
like you instead of like going through and okay, I had 2 eggs this morning, the wrap, the banana, something to drink. You can just say copy breakfast from yesterday, and it'll just copy it.
Nice.
Um,
Instead of yeah, because like a lot of those like My Fitness Pal, like
mhm,
like they're well, last time I used My Fitness Pal, there was no copy and paste and there was no preset.
yeah. Um, so it's been really nice. I've already noticed a difference in some of the shirts that I wear, and some of my some of my undershirts have just naturally gotten longer because my stomach is going away. Uh,
That's
my
always a cool feeling though.
my pants are fitting different. Like I've adjusted my belts, and it's like I don't know. It feels good to do that, and it's
Uh-huh.
something that I did a long time ago and felt really good. And then right before the pandemic started, I started doing it again, and I actually lost some weight doing that and like felt really good. But then when the pandemic hit, like since then, I've just been kind of just doing whatever I want, and it's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
um, so, but I don't know. I do plan on having some sort of you know physical activity incorporated into this at some point. I just baby steps, I guess. So
Yeah, the only other thing that I'm trying to do is honestly, I feel like you're basically inspiring me. Like it's funny, like lately I've been getting inspired by like a lot of like conversations I've had with people and stuff like that. And and like I said, like number one, awesome job, man. Like losing nearly 50 pounds, man. Like shit, like that's no that's no slouch. Like like there's no arguing with that, and stuff like that. So good on that. Oh, how's your sleep? Like you know what? I think I kind of already know this answer, because you have two children under the age of like 5 years old, right?
yeah, I mean, to be honest, like when I do go to sleep, I do sleep okay. Like I sleep pretty well, unless I'm like sometimes I stay up late working on stuff, and then like I have a hard time falling asleep and then staying asleep. But if I
Uh
go
huh.
to bed at like a normal time, I guess you would say like be midnight or before,
Uh
like
huh.
I usually sleep pretty well. Especially like the last 2 weeks, aside from the other night when my daughter was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, which was I don't know. We already talked about that in our
Yeah,
group
we talked
chat.
about that. Yeah.
uh, Dude, that was a
Hey,
nightmare, dude.
kids, man, kid. I don't. It's wild.
And
Anyway,
the
keep
thing
going.
the thing is like she was asleep, and like I was working on something, uh, because I forget what I was working on. I even forget what day it was. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. But like she had fallen asleep, and I was up till like 1:30, I think, working on stuff. And I went to
Hmm.
the bathroom. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go pee because once I lay down, I'm not getting up. Dude, as soon as I laid down, I heard my daughter yell, "Mommy, mommy." And like I was awake and I didn't want my wife or my son to wake up.
Uh
So I
huh.
just I just went in there at like 1:40ish.
Hmm.
I was like I was like, "What's going on? Why are you up?" She's like, "I want to sleep with mommy." I'm like, "They're asleep. You can't go in there. They're sleeping. You got to stay in here." And
And
she's
she
like
started crying.
she was like, "No." I thought she was going to because sometimes she does that, especially when she's tired.
Hmm.
Uh but I kind of just like sat with her until she was like falling asleep, and then she like dozed off, and I thought she was asleep, and I left, dude. As soon as I laid back down, "Mommy, daddy," I'm like, oh my
Aw.
gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Aw.
just go to bed. But I sat with her a little bit. I'm like, you need to go to sleep. You're gonna get up early and you're gonna be really tired. No, I'm not. Can I have a snack? No. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed. Uh, and we even gave her this little this star lamp that it's red when she's not allowed to be up, and it's
Uh-huh.
green and it turns green when she's allowed to get up.
Does it even work?
uh, I would say about 75% of the time it actually works.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
and she, it's funny because when I get up for work, we have it set for 7:30 that when she's allowed to get up and play and do stuff.
Hmm.
And when I get up for work, she'll ask for her tablet or something. Um, and I'll give it to her, and she's like, sometimes she's like, "Can I come out?" I'm like, "What color is your lamp?" She's like, "It's red." And then when I'll get out of the shower, and she's like, "It's green, it's green," and yeah, it's green, okay, but sometimes my wife and my son are still sleeping on some days, and so we just let her play in her room or whatever, uh, but yeah, man. Other than that, my sleep has been better especially the last couple weeks. I think obviously losing weight kind of helps you sleep better, I
Mhm.
assume, and I don't know.
And actually getting more sleep actually works out for better sleep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, shit. The other night, Monday night actually. Yeah, Monday night. Monday night, well, Monday was just a long day for me as far as work was concerned. But Monday night, I was so tired that I actually called myself going to bed by around 9 o'clock. I think officially, I was like, you know what, I'm getting out of these clothes and I'm getting into bed, and it was like 9:30, right? So I slept for a couple of hours too. Like I got back up around 11, sometime past 11, waking up to Verizon having an outage. So there was no internet. So
no internet.
yeah, no internet. And I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. Like when there's no internet, my computer just turns into a glorified paperweight.
Yeah.
So so I dealt with I so once I reconciled there was no internet, I went back to bed. And then Tuesday, I was dragging ass. Like I was so tired, and I'm like, what is it about when we get more sleep than our bodies normally used to? We are more tired.
Yeah. Yeah,
Somebody
man.
explain that science.
Sleeping is I don't know. It's important. So well, that was a good topic.
Yeah, yeah, dude. It's wonderful. It's wonderful you're taking care of yourself physically. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's I mean it's been a long time coming, so
Mhm.
I should now that I've been doing it, I wish I would have started earlier, but it's always that though. Once you start something right, it's like, man, I should have started earlier because it
Yeah,
feels so much better. But
yeah, yeah. I know that feeling.
yeah, but in 3 months, around my birthday or around Christmas, I want to see if it progresses or how I'm doing then too, and
Yeah, around Christmas, everybody be talking about you. Like, damn, like Corey's looking good.
yeah.
Like, what's he been doing?
Yeah. And I'll tell them I've literally just not been eating as much and they'll be like, "What?"
Your mom and your grandma's gonna be like, baby, are you okay? Are you eating all right? Are you on drugs or anything? Because there's one family member that always ask you like, are you taking something?
Yeah. I mean, that'll be my mom.
It's always one family member that just like, are you
Mhm.
are you taking care of yourself? What are you doing? What are
Yeah.
you doing? And they're waiting for you to say, oh, I'm strung out on crack.
Yeah. That's the one thing I really miss about my grandma is my mom would always accuse me of stuff or you know, ask me if I was doing something wrong and then my grandma would just compliment me and be like, you know.
Leave my baby alone.
Yeah. Oh man.
God, I'm trying to. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think that I don't remember if any of my grandmothers came to my rescue because I wasn't the best kid as far as like well mannered. You know, I got in trouble like on a regular.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, I mean, I don't, I don't want to brag, but like, out of all my cousins, it was very clear that I was my grandma's favorite. Oh my gosh, dude! At Christmas time, she was like always like nice to me, and like, dude, the last thing she told my one cousin, the last Christmas she was alive, like, the stove was on because my mom was cooking stuff, and we were like in a prayer or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and like my one cousin was clearly like high or hungover or something, and like he was like giggling or laughing or something during the prayer, and my grandma literally stopped the prayer and turned around and said, "You better touch that oven because that's what hell feels like." Oh man.
Oh my god!
And then
Oh my god!
oh man. It was so funny.
Oh, I'm gonna have to use that on somebody.
Yeah, man. It was really funny. I miss my grandma, man. She was awesome.
When did she pass away?
Uh let's see, like
How long has it been?
2007 ish.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, and like she died in like a freak surgery accident.
Oh shit.
So like it was like, she went in for like some sort of kind of like routine back surgery.
And then she couldn't wake up?
Well, she woke up, but then like something happened. Like I don't even really know what happened, but like they tried to revive her, and like by the time they revived her, she was like kind of brain dead,
Damn.
and like she ended up passing away in the hospital a couple days later.
That's my biggest fear of my mom right now because my mom like it's not like she's unhealthy or anything,
Mhm,
but she's a diabetic and she has high blood pressure and stuff like that. So like it's one of those things like and she's been getting a lot of routine like surgeries lately,
mhm,
which is also like alarming.
yeah,
But but yeah, but yeah, so I want to say a couple years ago, like she was in for something. It was a surgery for something,
yeah,
and they had the hardest time waking her up out of the anesthesia.
yeah, yeah,
And and when she told me about it, I was like, okay, from now on, whenever you have a surgery,
mhm,
you need to let me know. You know, you just need to let me know so like I can be prepared for anything. You know, and now it's getting to the point where like I'm like, okay, I had my mom get me put onto like some of her medical stuff.
mhm,
So if I had questions for her doctor, you know, like they would be willing to talk to me because like I'm on the list.
yeah. Um, yeah, man, these like routine surgeries are like they're scary now. Like like every time my dad goes in for like some sort of like heart thing, it scares me because like my dad now is almost the age that my grandma was when she passed away, and like all these surgeries are like, oh my gosh, just like I don't know. It's and as I get older, like I realize how like I'm fortunate enough that my parents are still around, right? And so, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those scary things.
Yeah, I mean, my wife lost her dad when she was pretty young. And so like I know, I mean, obviously I know a lot of people that their parents just aren't around anymore, and like how fortunate I am to still have them, but like as we get older, like that time is running out, and like I think about that kind of stuff sometimes, especially because like I'm close with my parents, but like my I think my relationship with my mom especially is like I wouldn't say rocky, but like it's not. I don't know. Like after spending talking to her for like a couple days, or like spending time with her for a day or so, like somehow we always end up in an argument or a fight about something really stupid, and like I really try my best to avoid that kind of stuff, but that's just how it is,
Man, fighting with parents is the worst. Like,
Yeah.
and the sad part is something I learned recently in like the sessions I was having with the counselor
Hmm.
is that part of my avoidance part like I become really avoidant real fast, like like when when there's conflict.
Hmm.
But it's funny because like I only become avoidant when the conflict is with people either that are loved ones, family, or people that I have high respect for.
Hmm.
Yeah, like anybody else, I'm not gonna avoid your ass. We gonna argue or we're gonna fight.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And like the dumb fights we get in now is like, she wants to see my kids like all the time. Right. And like, it's just not possible. Right. And like, I'm trying, like, you try to explain it and they like, it's not that they're not listening. It's just like, it just, sometimes it just feels like they don't care. And like, they just want to, like, she just wants to see the kids. And I'm like, okay, like, let's schedule a day. And it's not like they never see the kids. Like, they come over like almost every weekend to see them, or like we go over there, for a couple hours or whatever. And like, it's not like they're going months or years without seeing them, but I don't know. That just seems to be the
Yeah.
big trend now. And like, the argument now is like, she wants to take us all on vacation again. And it's like, okay, well, yes, I would love to go on vacation with you guys again with the kids, but we're trying to buy a house. My brother-in-law just had major kidney transplant surgery, and like we had to be around for that.
Transplant?
Hmm. Yeah. Um, and like that was like one major reason why we could not say yes, we're going. And like, we're trying to buy a house. There's a couple other things that are going on. Like the time they want to go, like I'm going to be really busy at work. Can't really like take I mean, I can take time off, but not like that would be a really bad time to take off. And so like there's all these things, but like, you know, won't let it go. It feels like. So, but I mean, and again, these are just like dumb fights. It's not like we're fighting over like, oh, you're on drugs, you know, get a real job, you know, you know. So I don't know, man. It's life, I guess.
I swear, like back when we were in like our 20s or just getting out of high school and stuff and moving on with our lives, did we ever think it would actually get to this point with like family?
No, no.
I've just my mom turned 70 in October, and I'm now having the come to Jesus moment that like I am now the parent in our relationship, and it is wild, but it's also wild because like I'm the parent in a relationship for someone that does not that still understands they're a grown person, so they're trying to do things even though they need your help more and more,
Hmm.
now, and it's like how did we get here?
Right. Yeah. Parents, man. But just glad I don't live at home anymore, I guess. I don't know. Although I like my parents' house. So,
I've done a wonderful job of not of staying away from moving back home. I have yet to do it, even though I almost had a moment where I thought I was going to have to do it, but yeah,
yeah.
I dodged the bullet so far.
Dude, I remember after my last relationship before my wife, when I had to move home. Oh my gosh, it was like kind of the worst. Um, because like it not only do you like already feel like a failure for like a, you know, leaving a relationship, b, you know, like moving home, but like you also feel like a child again, even though you're like, you know, late 20s, early 30s, maybe older in some cases, right? And like I was very fortunate that I was able to do that, but then like you get in that routine of like, I'm not 15 anymore. I have a job, I can go out if I want to. Like, I mean, I don't even have to bother you. Like my parents' house has a walk-in basement where like I was staying in the basement. And so like I don't even have to bother you. Like just I appreciate it, but leave me alone.
Yeah, and you see, that's just it too. Like like when we grow up and we move out the house and stuff, like we're learning ourselves what it's like to be an adult, and the last thing we want to do is go back into a parent-child relationship.
Right.
And a lot of parents still want to treat you like you are still their child living, growing up in their house, not living in their house, growing up in their house and stuff like that. And I was like, no, like I am old enough to have children now, so like you need to give me some respect.
Right. Right. Nuts, man. Oh man, what are you gonna do though?
Yeah, well, I know what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna wrap up this episode.
Yeah, man, I'm going to bed as soon as this is over.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, all that being said, we just want to go ahead and thank you all for hanging out and listening or tuning into us for this episode of Boss Rush After Dark. Corey,
Yeah, man.
it was wonderful, man. It was
It
wonderful.
was.
I always, nothing against Stephanie and Pat, but I feel like we always vibe the hardest when it's just you and I.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the mood changes when it's just us, you know?
Mhm.
And we don't get to do that very often.
We don't. We don't.
So.
We don't. We should tell them to do their thing more often. But, all right, so yeah, so there you go, there you have it. Thanks for hanging out with us for another all new episode of Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the network, where we talk about things that are always content appropriate for the anchor shows of the Boss Rush network. On behalf of my co-host Corey, I'd like to go ahead and say goodnight. By the way, like, thank you if you are a patron to the show. Like, check our show notes and get more information for how you can become a patron, as well as how you can get in contact with each one of the members here of this wonderful show that we love to do for you every other week now. So there you have it. We love you guys. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. That self-care thing that you do, that is your thing, and will keep you upright and on this earth as long as possible. Do that.
Yes.
All right. We're out. Have a good night.
Bye. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.